And finally, we are live. My guest today is Rahim Mastafa. Thank you so much for joining me, Rahim. Have we got a story to tell our folks before we even get started? It's amazing. Good evening.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show. It's a bit of an honour, to be honest.
My honour indeed for having you on, because great photography we're going to talk about. It's something that you don't see very often advertised that regularly on Google or even on Facebook or that sort of thing, which is one of the areas we're going to concentrate on when we show your work. But just before we get started, Rahim, as I mentioned, I wanted to just do a quick plug for a good friend of mine, Mark Grierson, who has just released his book. I'm just going to try and do a quick screen share for the folks, for Mark, because it's a book that he started working on around about 1.5 years ago, and it's all about photographing strangers, portraits of strangers in the street, and he's called it "Excuse Me, May I?" It's available on Blurb. I'm just trying to get my screen share up working. I'll tell you, we're going to have some problems tonight. I've just got a feeling. Here we go. Here comes the screen share. So it's just a little plug from a friend who's worked extremely hard on that. He gave me the honor of writing a few words at the end of the book for him, which is great. It's a fantastic set of photographs, 100 street portraits that he's done. He didn't know these people, just stopped him in the street and said, "Hi, how you doing?" And what he's done is the photographs and these conversations he's had with them. Superb book. I stress it's a good Christmas present for everyone. I've got it on my Christmas list. It's only 30 Canadian dollars, which I think is about 20 quid. So "Excuse Me, May I?" by Mark Grierson, a really good friend of mine, and let's get this book bought for him. Let's be a nice little present for him. So we'll stop that screen share. All the best to you with that book, Mark, and thanks again for giving me the honor rather to write at the end of your book there. It was indeed a great honor. My guest tonight, thank you for letting me do that, Rahim. We've got to basically say we've had so much problems getting online here. This show may go pop at any time. We've got, for some unknown reason, we've just got real connection problems, but with a bit of luck, fair wind, we should make it through, say around about 50 minutes or so for this show. Fingers crossed, eh? Let's see how we go. Rahim, how did you get into photography?
It's quite a sort of interesting story. I had a DSLR which I used for video, and I used to shoot wedding videos and other little corporate things with it, what have you. And my father-in-law had a coffee shop in the sort of like in a town not far away from here, and he in this coffee shop had a soft play area. So the mums and dads used to be in this coffee shop all day long, and he just basically wanted to get more people into the shop. And so he said, why don't I offer children's portraits? You know, he had space upstairs, take pictures, and he said the kids, the mums and dads would love that. So I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't a photographer at all. You know, I use this thing for video, this camera. And he was like, oh, don't worry, you'll be fine. You know, you're a professional. And then he started taking appointments. So he basically started taking appointments with, and he gave me 2 weeks notice. So he made the first booking 2 weeks from the time he told me, do you want to try this? You know, so, and I was like, what are you doing? I haven't got any equipment. I haven't got any lights. I'm not a photographer, you know, I don't have the experience and things. So basically I went out on eBay, I bought all this equipment, and spent 2 weeks on YouTube watching tutorials on, you know, studio lighting, posing, this, that, and the other. And so I was thrown into the deep end, and I did it. I started cheap because I didn't really know what to charge, and I figured, you know, if I do a bad job, people are not going to moan about the price and things. And so yeah, that's how I started. Hence the name Sugarbox Studios. I thought I'll choose a, you know, family-friendly name, and it kind of stuck. And yeah, that was my start in photography, probably.
Okay. And you're not going to believe it, but halfway through that, my screen completely froze up. So
yeah, I kept going. So I don't know if
good man. I'm glad you did, because I'm hoping that it just got through the feed on the YouTube. But let's just go. I think I know what the problem was. I'm sorted that out now. Yeah. So that's great. So you got yourself started that way. So my good friend Michael Ramel spoke to you a number of months ago, and I remember you started talking about this fact that you used to go down the gymnasiums. Is this how your next level basically got involved with the bodybuilding or the people in the gyms, the photography of the people in the gyms? Is that how that started off?
Yeah, I had, from when I was doing the kids photography, I was, I kind of had the bug then. So I went out at that time and I was shooting all sorts of stuff. I did my fair share of street photography, architectural stuff, and taking pictures of flowers and whatever, and because I just loved shooting. And I thought, I was trying different kinds of things. I had a friend who was into cycling, so I did a shoot with him. He's one of the first kind of guys that I shot. I did a shoot with a friend who played golf and things. And I thought, well, what other sports are there? And I thought people who like taking pictures of themselves are these, bodybuilders or anyone who's really into fitness. So I messaged a friend and I said, do you know anybody who's, in good shape and things? So he put me in touch with this guy, and I did my first shoot, for free. It was a portfolio builder to see, what I thought. Do I like it? I liked it. I just thought the shots were really cool. I also loved shooting, portraits with people. It was that sort of thing that I liked, interacting with people. I wasn't really interested in doing landscape photography or architectural stuff, because you don't get any feedback. Do you know what I mean? So I got that bug, and eventually, I did 2 or 3 more shoots for people, and then people started saying, "How much you charge?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know what to charge." So I was just making up prices and stuff, and as it was going along, I started sort of developing a style and things, and people were liking my look and what have you, and it's kind of taken off. I haven't reached that stage yet where I've switched jobs, but it's going really well. It's
you're starting to think down those lines. I get the impression from a couple of posts which were on Facebook a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is one of the reasons why I thought I'd get you online, because Michael and I spoke about you, because I go shooting with Michael quite a bit on the streets in London there, and I said to him, I had a great interview with Rahim a couple of weeks ago, and we were just chatting about it, and I thought, well, one of the awkward thing is, obviously I can't go straight on to follow Michael on as regards to the same guest. So I think that phone's going to be picked up in a minute. It's all going pear-shaped.
I've turned my phone off. I prepared.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'll do the same now as I speak.
Everything's on mute around here.
The thing which that struck me was the fact that the way you were talking as regards to how, in actual fact, you've gone about marketing yourself, and you got in touch with certain people. Almost, you seem to know the routes to go to find the work. Could you just talk us through actually the sort of efforts that you did to basically social network yourself?
Yeah. Are you referring to the chat the other day on this on the Facebook group as well?
Yeah.
About marketing. You've got to get out there, basically. I hustle, as they say, that phrase. Always looking for opportunities, speaking to different people. You don't know who knows who, people know people and things. And again, you could just, it depends what kind of niche, you don't necessarily have to fall into a niche, I don't think. But if you were trying to find work in a particular area of photography that you want to get into, then ask. Basically, that's what I was doing with that fitness shoot. I just asked, do you know anybody? Did it, got the ball rolling. But and then I just keep doing that. And it's not just about meeting people face to face. I mean, that's obviously really important, but social media these days as a photographer is vital. You got to be on all the main ones: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and what have you. People need to see your work on a regular basis to know that you're an active photographer. Post stuff about yourself as well. They want to see your personality and things. But that's what I do constantly. Trying to find those peak times. For your local area, for instance. If you wanted to shoot, you want to just shoot in your city. You think, right, when are most people online? It's going to be in the morning or in the evenings after work and stuff. And those things. I don't know if this is how deep you want to go on this chat quite yet.
No, that's fine, because I think it's important, because the amount of people that I hear speaking about it, and they go, oh, well, how do I, you'd be surprised how many people to me say, well, how do I use Facebook to get work? How do I use Google Plus to get work? I think Google Plus is a little bit of a Coles to Newcastle type thing, quite honest with you, because if you're a photographer and you put your photograph on there, you're going to get a couple of pluses and that's it. And I don't think you're going to get any work through Google Plus, especially in this country. But I don't think people use social networking effectively to gain business properly. I think they think that I'll just set myself up a website, I'll do a couple of posts now and then, and the work will come to me. Unfortunately, not quite like that, is it?
No, with my Facebook thing, that's probably where I spend most of the time. I live on Facebook. And Instagram, I'm starting to like a lot more. You know, I've been using it quite a lot now. But with Facebook, you know, you can see the number. If you go on a Facebook business page, you can see the number of views or whatever visits to your page. And I hate it when it starts dropping. And I'm like, right, what else can I do to keep the numbers up without necessarily having to spend money on boosting it, you know, to get those figures going up and stuff. So sometimes it could just be, you don't necessarily have to post one of your latest shots. Today, I posted a photo, which I just took on my phone, of a couple of props that I bought for a photo shoot that's coming up. You know, so I was like, what am I going to do with this? You know, watch this space, and I just tagged the people that I'm going to do the photo shoot with. So they've got a big, you know, audience or big, followers. Yeah, and so that's just things like that, you know, and people respond to it, they comment and they're interested. I mean, it was retweeted and all that sort of stuff. And another little thing that I did was sometimes if I post a picture on Instagram, I will just scroll through the likes, you know, to see who the people are that are liking my pictures. Because a lot of the problem with Instagram, you get a lot of bots, you know, they're not real people liking your photos or whatever, or they're just Instagram feeds. But I did get, I mean, one example, somebody commented on one of our pictures and I said, oh, thanks, glad you liked it, this, that, and the other. And she happened to be local. And we were chatting and we worked it out and I ended up doing a shoot with her, you know, just off the back of you know, Instagram and just chatting to people, you know. So I think it's being proactive in that way.
I think this is interesting because I think there are, as I said, there are so many people out there that think they can just start a website, put their names up on the Facebook, couple of pictures up now and then, and they don't work at it. And I think that applies to all businesses, to be quite honest with you, with all business. Let me just take you right the way back when you were a young man, a little boy. Did your parents ever have any kind of camera in the house? What was your first recollection of a camera?
I have thought about that, and I actually can't remember. You know, I don't know what make of camera it was. Although I do know that my mum used to have DSLRs, as in, you know, changeable lenses.
And the SLR, yeah.
It wasn't just your, you know, point and shoot type camera. And so she was always interested in photography. It wasn't anything that I, you know, was interested in or, you know, thought, hey, there's a hobby I want to get into and stuff. But yeah.
And so the first camera that you bought then basically was the one which you started using in your mum and dad's cafe there.
My in-laws cafe, but no, it was a Sony A55, proper entry level, but the video was good. That's why I bought it.
Okay, yeah. And what are you shooting with now?
Still Sony. I shoot. It's a Sony A77. So again, it's not. I was having chats with people about the equipment that I use. It's not the most expensive. It's not the professional stuff. And a lot of people are surprised because they think, oh, you need to get the pro stuff, full frame and, you know, expensive lenses and whatever. Yeah. Decent shots, but you don't. And I think that's really important, especially when you're trying to make it as a photographer. You need something to get started. And a lot of people break the bank by, you know, getting all this kit, thinking I need to get a Pocket Wizard if I want to do off-camera flash, and they cost 200 quid. I need to get the Canon whatever flash because, hey, it's, you know, expensive, but it's again several hundred quid. I shoot cheap. Everything, a lot of my equipment is really cheap, and it's basically because I can't afford it yet, or I'm a bit too tight to, you know, take that step to buy a, you know, 70 to 200 2.8 lens and stuff.
I put a caveat on the back of that, Rahim. You're too sensible, because I'm a firm believer of the fact that I think it's, now you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, that Sony A77, is that with the translucent mirror, or is that just a straight? Is it what?
Yeah, it's got no mirror in it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there was one that they designed where basically the light could go through the mirror, and it basically, they reckon it was going to be able to shoot faster, you know, to the repetitions and all that business. But you know, Sony's
it's a good camera.
Cameras at the moment.
Yeah, because that particular one, I bought it because, well, it was kind of a natural next step from the A55.
Yeah.
Has I think it's 22 or 24 megapixels. So I thought, you know, it'll see me through for a while because it's got enough megapixels, whatever.
Yeah.
It was a lot better with doing off-camera flash and studio type work. You know, it was just a better all-round camera. And yeah, it has got a high shutter speed, you know, burst rate.
Yeah,
and all that.
I've just done a Google on it. It is the one with the translucent mirror, SLTA-77. This is the camera which I first saw when I went to a Sony presentation where they were kicking this one around with the new NEX7, you know, the little tiny compact camera. And the guys were saying to me, what do you got there? So I said, well, I've got the Nex 7 and I'm doing everything which you're doing on their SLR. And they were really kicking themselves. But of course, Sony have moved on now. They've got the full frame cameras and the like of that nature. But they certainly are up there at the top level. So, but you're right. You don't have to spend a lot of money on your camera equipment to get decent shots.
No. Some of the photos I've been posting on Facebook on this group recently, people were loving them, and they were, you know, sorry, that sounds like I'm boasting, but people were liking these shots, and they were saying, you know, what did you shoot that on? And these particular shots that I posted were shot on that A55. So that camera is probably now worth 200 odd pounds.
Yeah.
You know, and I used a 50mm prime lens, 1.8. So again, that lens is about 100 odd pounds. And they were like, what? You know, look, and the same goes for my lighting. The flashes that I use, the you know, whatever, they're all 40 pounds, you know, so compared to the full range of expensive flashes.
Yeah.
And actually at the photography show, there were people sort of, you know, demonstrating different lighting equipment and stuff. And I had my tablet there, so I was showing them my work, and the guy who was selling all this lighting stuff, he was looking at my shots, and he's like, and I told him what I lit them with, and he was like, you lit that with that, you know. You couldn't believe the results that I was getting with cheap stuff, you know. So,
cheaper equipment. I know this fallacy. I've got to spend so much money to get decent photographs. I've got to have a better camera to make better photographs, and it's not. It's the person behind the camera.
I mean, obviously you will get better shots with better glass, and all that. I mean, obviously, but it's just surprising how much you can get done on a budget.
Yeah.
You know?
How about the editing side? What do you use to edit your photographs with?
Photoshop. It's all Photoshop. Because I don't do a huge amount, because I'm not a wedding photographer, I don't have hundreds of photos to deal with.
Okay.
From a shoot. So I'm basically dealing with about 15 to 30 shots. So I'll shoot raw, and I got my presets saved in raw editor, you know, and so and the thing is, when I'm shooting, the lighting, obviously, same happens with the wedding. The light between one shot to another is always different, so I'm always having to tweak those, you know, presets and whatever. But and I kind of, it's funny because I look at some photographers' work, and you can tell it's their work, you know, from one shoot to another, and it's just because of their look that they've achieved, you know. And whereas that, sometimes I look at mine, I was like, oh, that shoot's completely different to that one, you know. So it's kind of like I will edit each shoot to the client's kind of feel or look, or even what they want, you know, so that it's just, obviously it's always about keeping the clients happy and stuff. But occasionally within a shoot as well, I will take 2 or 3 shots and edit them completely differently to the rest of the shots. You know, they'll be like standout kind of shots. But the clients never mind, you know, they love it anyway. So even though I might think, oh, you know.
So who are your clients? Let's establish this for starters. Who are your clients?
Most of my clients are personal trainers, bodybuilders. They are then also sort of the personal trainers can be like, you know, fitness model types, or they're competing athletes, competing bodybuilders, but they're all generally gym based. You know, rather than me doing a lot of cycling shoots, you know, I would say I do all sorts of sports portraits, but it's just the niche that I've got is bodybuilders and personal trainers, fitness models, that sort of thing.
That sort of thing. That's great. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll go to screen share now, I think, because that's a nice little tie-in, because we've spoken about your equipment, and I think it's about time we had a look at some work. So I'm just gonna try and get the screen share up. And then,
if this falls over now.
Yeah, if this program goes pop, we'll do it again another time. You should now see.
You can see my chat there. You might want
to your line there. I'm just gonna.
Hang on, you've got my chat box up there. See?
Yeah. Click that out.
Cool.
And we'll go to albums.
Yep.
And let's just have a look at this taekwondo fitness photos that you've done here.
Mm-hmm.
And as basically we go through it, Rahim, if you just tell us basically how you set the shot up and what was the purpose of the shoot in the first place, and
okay, well,
all sorts of stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Well, the girl in the photo, she's a friend of mine, and she was following my work on Facebook for a while, and she is competing. She competes in taekwondo. She was going to do the Commonwealth Games, so she approached me and said, you know, can I take some photos of her and things, because various websites want photos and things, you know, what have you. So I could have just gone for the standard sort of headshot if I wanted to. You know, here you go. There's a portrait. There's a picture of you. But I thought, no, I wanted to show off the movement that's involved, you know, with taekwondo, martial arts and things.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the stuff I shoot in gyms is actually, there's not much movement, you know, there's not much movement to it. So anyway, so I was looking at ideas online, how to capture this movement. And, you know, these sort of things are quite common, where you see a lot with like ballet dancers. Or you got the shot of some woman shaking her hair back out of the water kind of stuff and catching it. Mm-hmm. And I'd never done a shoot like this before with flour. I didn't know anything really about the lighting, and I just Googled it, went on YouTube, watched a few tutorials, and I thought, I'll try that. You know, so
yeah.
I had the lighting set up. The location that picture's actually taken is just out the back of my house, because I thought we can make a mess there and nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
Because we actually hired a little function hall type thing to do the shoot, but I thought I'm going to spend more time cleaning than actually doing the shoot. So all it is basically is I bought 2 bags of flour, so 75 pence flour, whatever. And then I got my speed lights on 2 stands, as you can see there, the lens flare on either side. Backlighting, because that's what you're supposed to do apparently, is backlight flour or talcum powder, whatever you're shooting with. And we did a couple of rehearsal takes of her doing that kick, you know, without the flour on her, just so I can get the timing right.
Yep.
Just before the shot, I just basically threw a load of flour all over her clothes and stuff and in the hair, and just went for it. And I love that shot.
So I was going to say that basically then this flower movement is created by her movement. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not Photoshop. I mean,
no, I'm going to say you haven't thrown that flower behind her as she's moving.
No, that's all come off her basically
as she's done the moves.
Yeah, we made a right mess.
Fantastic.
If you skip to the next shot, sorry, this one again. I love this one.
Yeah.
Even if I say so myself. But basically, again, the only kind of photoshopping I did was to remove the light stands, and to bring her uniform in a bit, because it's quite a baggy looking uniform, you know. So I just did a bit like nip tuck on that. But for the lighting, so I backlit it. But I also had a studio light at the front of her, so you can see, because there's light on her face and the front and things. And again, we just timed it. And none of the flower is photoshopped on flower or clouds or anything like that. That's all real. And I just in raw editor just adjusted the color levels and what have you, and it just came up looking like that. And I just say,
so basically, then your model here, for one of description, the model has had 2 fistfuls of flour, and she's just thrown them back as you've taken the shot.
Yeah, that was it. It was timing it. I didn't shoot like high burst rates or anything like that, because my flashes won't fire that fast. It was literally just 1, 2, 3, go. You know, brilliant. And I just love it because also her expression is so good. You know, because what I like to do is when I'm doing shoots is to tell people to think about their face. You know, because quite often they won't think about how they look. You know, to sell the shot through their face. You know, so I just like that. Is just another.
As it turns out, looking at these photographs, Rahim, the actual backyard that you've used here is just perfect.
It does, isn't it?
It's a perfect backdrop for what you're looking to show here. I think if you'd done it in a studio, I don't think you could have replicated it any better.
Well, you could shoot it. I've seen them a lot against black, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But you got a bit of feeling here, you know. At the end of the day, taekwondo is all about fighting, isn't it? And you get this idea that she's in the backyard and she's ready to fight you. You wouldn't want to meet her in the dark alley.
Well, there's a dark alley, but she's covered in flour.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I just I like the location and stuff. I mean, what she's doing isn't necessarily like the last shot on this one. That's got nothing to do with taekwondo, but I still somehow think it works. She's wearing the taekwondo clothes, and it's all about the movement, you know. And I just think they're cool looking shots. One with a flag, straightforward. And well, there's some nice blending. Yeah, this one was actually the background where she did the kick. That little grey wall, that's my little studio space. So I shot that inside before we headed out doing the flower. I thought obviously do it that way around.
Yeah, it's an interesting pose actually there, because she's looking at you as me to say, I mean business, you know, don't mess with me now.
Yeah, that's why I said just to look up through the top of her eyes, you know, just to look.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And actually, you just showing the setup.
Yeah, that's not quite the right setup, but yeah, people like these behind the scenes shots, you know.
Yeah.
There's the mess.
That's the idea. Okay, let's come out of that one. Let's go to another. I'm on a fairly tight screen here, so I have to keep coming out into another album.
Well, have a look at the one there. It says that one, yeah, right where you are there.
This one here, fitness shoot with Martin
Rollins, yeah.
Now this to me looks as though it's all done in the gym.
Yep, it's all shot in the gym.
Expand the screen out so we've got full screen. You are seeing these photographs, okay? Yeah.
Yeah, they look
great. Good.
With this one again, obviously I always liaise with a client leading up to a shoot. Just on Facebook, we're chatting all the time, you know. And we had different ideas. He was very particular. He's a personal trainer and also a competing bodybuilder. So, you know, he was like, oh, I really want these shots to look awesome. Everybody wants to look awesome, you know. So, but what I said, what I'd like to try with this shoot is to do, to shoot a few shots quite dark, you know.
Yep.
And moody and things. And I wanted to incorporate gels, you know, because I don't often shoot with a gel. It's often just like bare colored white flash. So I just I do a two light setup. I have one on a small softbox just on the front, high up on it with a boom arm, light in its front, and then I just had a kicker at the back with the blue gel, and got this rope that was lying around. Got him to the way he held it. I directed him how to, you know, get the nice shape in it, what have you. And basically I told him every two shots of the flash, just look somewhere else. You know, give me a different look. And he just looked over his shoulder, and I said, that's good. I like that. And I just did it, and I got this shot. But the gym is actually very bright.
Tell me something with these bodybuilders. Now that physique he's got there, has he had to work his body to get that physique for the shot, or is his body like that all the time?
No. He's actually I think he was competing the week before this photo shoot, so he was on stage. But he also had another competition the week after this shoot, so he was in good condition, you know.
Right.
So, and that helps obviously when you're trying to do fitness. If somebody's ripped and they got, you know, you can create shadows with muscles, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You got something to work with, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was very ripped. I don't know what his body fat level was, but it's pretty low, as you can see.
Yeah.
Again, this one I like. Again, just a simple one light setup.
Yeah.
It's exactly, that's in the same spot as the previous shot. I didn't move the lights. I just turned off the backlight, and I just told him to step forward, step back, step forward. You know, until the shadows were right. And then
got the point. It looks very sinister there, but it's a great shot.
Nice, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one again. The lights on a boom. There's no difference to the light setup on the blue kicker at the back. It's just what we did actually. We got like a mood board together before the shoot.
That's good idea.
He just went on Pinterest. I went on Pinterest or Google Images and whatever. We're just looking for shots we liked, you know. And so we sending each other suggestions. And there is a photo that we saw that was just like this. A guy stood, arms on his hips, you know, and it was just that. And I just took it, and you know, he likes it.
Superb.
And, you know, And then actually in Photoshop in the background, I just paint out a few things that are lying around.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
Sorry, going to the next one. Is pushing some weights there.
Yeah, this one, I'm actually, with my photo shoots, I often, pretty much all the time now, I will film the photo shoots as well.
Oh, okay.
Because people like these behind the scenes videos, and I do a little introduction. I talk during the shoot to tell them what's happening and what have you. And I make these little 3-minute, 4-minute videos and things. So this, I will be showing a video of this one soon. Basically, I'm up on the leg press machine. It's quite precarious actually, because I was just holding on by one hand onto the ceiling. There was like a joist, whatever, and I just wanted to make sure that I got the weights in the shot, because if it was just all just about him, you wouldn't know what he's doing.
No, exactly. No.
So at least you got to see the weights, you know. And I just cropped it to the right kind of proportion so it's symmetrical and what have you. And I had to use my wide angle lens on that to get it all in, and yeah, just got that shot.
Yeah, but when we finish the screen share, we'll talk about the lenses that you've got. So, but we'll do that after we've done the screenshot. I've seen this one before when I was doing a little recce before. Okay. Great use of light here.
It's with the shoots that I do, shooting in gyms. It's a bit tricky, you know, shooting in a gym, because the gym is open to the public.
Yes.
So people are using the machines around you, you know. So sometimes. You know, you just got to wait until somebody moves out the way. In fact, that particular shot, there's a guy sat on the bench rather behind him, and he kept sort of moving forward as he's doing the weights and stuff. So we had to time it so that when he's sitting back, that's when I fire. But of course, the guy in the photo has these weights to hold while, you know, he's waiting. So it's hard work for my clients, because my shoots go on for a while as well. For them to maintain a pose, to flex everything, to get every little muscle that they want to show off tense, without looking like, you know, they're dying in their faces or something, you know. That's so it's a challenge. And there's, again, in gyms, there's stuff everywhere. You know, if you're trying to put lights up,
it's almost impossible to have him solely on his own. He got machinery and other bits behind there. You know, can see that. I mean, that in actual fact sets the scene in my book. You know, this is not just again, going back to what I said before. This is not sort of studio work. This is actually guys doing. He's working out, so it's good to show the tools and the machines that he's using in the background.
Yeah. I mean, like this one, I couldn't move this machine out the way. Like, basically, I wanted to get more space, so I had my back right against the wall to get this shot, and I had to use a wide angle lens just to get it in, you know, and stuff. And I had to Photoshop out my light stand in the background and stuff, and you know. But I think it's, you know, it's a good little shot there. And what's this one? Yeah, you can see I've kept the light in the shot.
Yes.
But I've just Photoshopped up the stand and stuff, and I just put a little bit of a lens flare on it. And it's only because I've seen other photographers do that, basically, where it's like, oh, it seems to be an acceptable thing to show your lights, you know?
Yeah. Now, see, I think that's a good shot as well, because you're showing the machinery, you're showing he's working out in the gym. It doesn't matter that you've got another person in the background there. Concentration is all on his back and his muscles, and all that sort of showing his shape.
Yeah,
this one
crazy shape.
We'll do one more. We'll do one more album.
Okay.
Can
I suggest one?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Say, scroll, keep scrolling. You might have to hit see more at the bottom. It's one of my slightly older shoots, so it's a bit further down. Actually, I'm going to suggest this one because I love it. London Street Shoot. That's the one that
Didn't Michael go along with you to do the film?
Yeah. So, and you may have seen the video of that. I don't know, but
I did. Yeah. Now, who is this fella?
This guy, he's actually an emergency doctor. He works in A&E, one of the hospitals not far away. But he used to be what it's called strongman. You know, the big guys that sort of lift fridges and throw beer barrels around and what have you. You know. So he was, I think, 20 stone or something when he did that, like 2 years ago.
Wow.
Maybe more. And so he's dropped all this weight now, and he's 6'4", so he's got this great look. And yeah, really nice guy. And basically, I wanted to just do a social media stunt and raise you know, whatever, awareness, or just get people to see my stuff and share it. And I've always wanted to do a shoot on the streets with a bodybuilder. And I was going to do it in Cardiff, but he suggested London because he was competing in London the day after the shoot. So I was like, oh, that'd be awesome. So I did a bit of research to see about the rules and the laws about, you know, where and whatever you can shoot and things. And we just headed out, and he was game for it. You know, he's up for doing the shoot. The weather wasn't on our side.
No, I remember that.
But yeah, we just basically beforehand, we kind of, with Michael as well, it's very good to have him there, honestly, because you know, he really helped know where to go and stuff like that, you know. So I just wanted to incorporate the landmarks, you know, what says London kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And we wanted to work fast. I didn't use any of my flash on this stuff. It's all just ambient light, no reflectors, no nothing. Because it was all supposed to be just get it out on Twitter quickly, you know, Instagram. And I had a special t-shirt made with all my social media branding on the back, so that if I end up in a shot, that some girl is taking, going, oh, check it out, there's a 6'4" bodybuilder in the middle of London.
Yeah, that's right.
My branding will be in that shot, and then they can share it and tag and all that sort of stuff, you know. So I was thinking ahead for that.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, the video is very popular, you know, and it was great.
I saw the video. Obviously, Michael posted it up, and I thought I'll have a quick deco and have a look at it. And yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's just a fun day out. I just love it. And we're thinking of doing something again similar. In fact, I am doing another shoot with him soon, but it's just going to be a studio-based type thing, which I'm still working on.
This is Covent Garden. It looks like
so. Apple Market. Yeah, is that Covent Garden?
Covent Garden. I recognise that at the back there. Looks familiar.
Funny, anyway. the reactions people were getting, you know. This one, actually, I'll get Michael took this one, so credit to him for that. Yeah, he did take it. I'm pretty sure he took it. Yeah, and this is actually on iPhone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he put it through Snapseed. So the editing is done on that. It's just a Snapseed cut, you know, filter. Yeah. And yeah,
I remember the filming for this one.
Yeah, it's just a little. Do you know what you could do? A post, what do you call a calendar out of the shot?
Yeah, you know? London. Yeah.
But it's just the fact that, you know, he wasn't shy.
He caught the pigeon down here as well. Brilliant. Piccadilly Circus.
Yeah, and then this coming towards the end of the shoot. Oh, final shot. That one is one of my favorites.
Well, me too. It's comical, and the lady next to him.
Yeah, she can see me.
The other fella's too busy looking at his
phone. He knew what was going on. Obviously, he's too embarrassed to look up. But,
yeah, he was. Yeah.
We were just thinking, right, one more shot. And in my head, during the day, I was thinking, I want to get this bus stop shoot. And initially, how I envisioned it was, I wanted him to stand at a crowded bus stop with like old ladies waiting for the bus, you know.
Yeah.
And there he is, just with his top off, a bodybuilder with a newspaper, also waiting for them. It's just, I don't know, it's a funny thing. So at the end of the day, we found this bus stop, and it didn't have any old ladies or whatever. And I shot this from across the road, which was tricky because that's a busy road, cars whizzing back and forth. And I just, you know, managed to get through the traffic to get that shot. And, you know, I like it. It tells a little story.
Finish there, I think, on those. That's a great selection of your work. So what I really want to do now, talk to you about, you mentioned just a wide angle lens, and I know earlier on you mentioned the 50. So what lenses have you got?
I did say I work cheap.
No.
So my wide angle lens, I've got my kit bag here, so I can show you straight away. I don't use this very often because it's a wide angle. You get so much distortion. You know, with people if you're getting close, and it goes all weird. But the lens is a Konica Minolta.
Right.
17 to 35. It's not actually too cheap a lens. I bought it off a friend who used to use it for weddings, and I just tested it out one day. And I thought, oh, it's handy, because he said I should try a wide angle lens because, you know, shooting in a gym, sometimes I need a bit of space and whatever. Yeah. So there's that one.
Does that work automatically with your camera, or is that manual focus?
No, this is automatic.
Okay. Yeah, autofocus, yeah.
Okay. There's that one. Then I've got the 35mm, which is actually that's on my cameras in the kitchen. So yeah, this one here is the 1.8 50mm.
Right. Okay.
£120, and I've got the 35mm again because I just need to get closer to the person.
And what make those lenses?
Those are the Sony branded ones. They're not
the Sony brand. Okay.
Yeah, they're not the Zeiss lenses.
No.
And then I also bought, this one came with a camera. This is a cheap one I very, very rarely use. It's a Tamron 18-200, right?
Okay.
So it's an 18-200 and it's 3.5 to 6.3.
Right.
But I have used it, oops. I have used it recently. There's a decent zoom on it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not actually as bad as I used to think it was. And I thought, oh, I might use this more often. So
I suppose really to a degree, if you're looking like when you're in excuse me in the streets of London, there you could have used it there if you want to.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember which one.
It's not really one that you would use obviously in the gym because you're working so close to the model.
Yeah, yeah. Although because it's an 18 mil, you know, I did actually use it for one shoot, and the shot came out really good. It didn't give me the nice, you know, blown out background.
Yeah.
You know. But I just wanted to, because I knew it was going to be a 1 hour photo shoot. You have to be quick. So I thought, I don't want to be messing around with lenses and stuff. I want something that can zoom in and get the shots, you know.
Yeah.
And I just had to obviously fiddle with the shutter speed and the ISO because it was getting dark, this, that, and the other. But it is all right. It's a good little lens.
So largely then, Rahim, everything you've learned in photography is self-taught. Have you gone along to any workshops or photographic courses? I'm
just going to plug this. You plugged a book. I'm going to plug this mug. Look, see that?
Self-taught photographer. Good boy.
Yeah, no, yeah, self-taught. I thank YouTube basically for everything. You know, I haven't really read many books on photography because I think it just takes too long to read. I might as well watch a video while I'm doing the ironing, you know, or something. Or
if you got the camera in your lap and you're saying, oh yeah, like, oh, I see, that's how that works.
Yeah.
It is a great way to learn.
Yeah, because a lot of people, especially if you see on the Facebook forums, they're like, can you recommend, and people are recommending books and things, and great, you know. But I'm just like, I know I can get that information a lot quicker if I just watch a 5-minute YouTube video. You know, so what's the point?
It's good. I quite agree with you. There's certain aspects of things, not necessarily photography that I have watched obviously photography of YouTube videos. They are useful, but there are so many different videos out there you can watch. You know, you can learn how to build a house.
Yeah. For me, I mean, obviously, the books will be deeper and more intellectual and all that sort of stuff, and a bit more from the photographer's perspective, kind of thing. But yeah, for YouTube video, if you just want to, I don't know. Camshell lighting or whatever, you know, just type it in. There's a video.
Fine, go. So where are you at actually with your, dare I use the term, business at the moment? It's still a sort of you're sort of semi-pro.
Yeah.
And you're now looking to develop it on from where it is, or are you happy with the way your life is sort of situated at the moment? You've got your day job as well as this work.
Yeah, the thing, because my day job, I'm self-employed. I'm a freelance video editor, hence me being able to do these videos stuff. Sure. I work in TV. I make TV shows and stuff. So the work is good. I get paid a decent wage, and I get booked for several weeks and if not months at a time. So it's very difficult for me to turn down a big booking of work. You know, I just can't really do it unless I know. It's the situation I'm in now. It's like I've started a job like two months ago or so, and it's going to take me through to about February. So that's about 5 months of work, you know, in one particular job. And so therefore, I just basically got to work my photography, you know, in the evenings or weekends.
The weekends,
I love the photography so much. I wish I could make that sort of transition. Because there are people who will say, just put your prices up, then you can make that transition. But I don't know if it's that easy. Yeah, right now I'm doing all right because especially in this area, the South Wales area, I think it's the biggest collection of gyms in the country. You know, so I have a big market here. I don't really need to travel anywhere else, you know, to get any extra work. So I've got everything here on my front door, and I've worked so hard that I think a lot of people know me or have seen my work, even if they don't know this face, they've seen my photos somewhere, you know. So I've got that reputation built and stuff like that. And I've had people say, you know, I'm the go-to person and everybody wants to shoot with you and all that sort of stuff. And so I like that, but that's like having likes on Facebook. It doesn't pay bills.
Well, this is it. But I think you're doing it the right way, quite honestly, because I do think you get to a stage where, we all would, we love photography. We'd all love to do it as a job, and we'd all like to sort of get remuneration for it. But there comes the time, and obviously, there's, as you experience obviously with your freelance work, no doubt there's going to be down times where you don't have work coming in all the time. And I think it must be and probably be more frustrating for a photographer, because it is very much a case of you're not the flavor of the month at the moment. So I'm going to, there's another photographer that's on the scene, maybe that there's something that equal way at your side of the business or whatever. So I think you got it covered the best way. I wanted to ask you a question with regards to, you say there's a lot of gyms around your area. Have you basically got a how did you go about getting the agreement to do the photography on site in those gyms? Did you have any problems with that at all?
No, I think that I probably had in all the times I've been shooting in different gyms. I tend to shoot in the same gyms. I have a sort of small selection of gyms, but they're big gyms. That I've said, yeah, I can shoot there, no problem, because I've kind of established this sort of relationship with them. They know who I am and stuff. And the fact that I've always tagged them in the photos. So they like the publicity, it's good for it's a free advert for their gym, I have had a couple of gyms say, no, we would charge you whatever, £25 an hour to use it and stuff. But then I have to give that price cost to the client, and that's too much. Especially if it's a 3-hour photo shoot, it's 100 whatever quid on top of their
and what basically do your clients use the photographs for?
Yes, none of them, or maybe I'm assuming, but virtually none of them want any prints.
Okay.
Everything. All my clients, they live on social media. They want JPEGs. They want to be able to share pictures. They don't want to see a photo necessarily of themselves ripped on their wall and stuff. It's not quite the same. So they use it because they're personal trainers. They'll use it for their business.
Okay.
For their Twitter pages, Instagram, and things. And it's just stuff to keep them out there. And they use it for their business cards and stuff like that. Business use, basically.
And are you in a position to be able to use those photographs for your own ends? In other words, could you sell those photographs into some kind of gym magazine or Keep Fit magazine?
Potentially, I would make an agreement with the client, because it's just obviously I retain the copyright and all that sort of stuff. But I've had people approach me. I've had magazines and websites approach me and stuff like that. And this is one thing I still need to get my head around properly about the whole commercial use and what do you charge for this and that usage? Are you going to charge for print? Are you going to use you got to license the image and everything? And right now I might be shooting myself in the foot doing this, and I probably am. But I'm so far. You just book me as a photographer and use your photos, kind of use them as you see fit. But then the problem I have, if one of those guys ends up being sponsored by Nike or something, or it becomes the next global campaign shot, there's me stood in the corner. Hey, got my 50 quid.
I think so, you've got to, one thing, I keep on trying to get hold of someone to join me on the show with regards to copyright law and everything with regards to photography. But I think one thing you've got to be careful of here is if your photographs do actually go into, if a magazine wants to use your photographs, I think you've got to make sure you've got a sort of a signature and agreement by the actual model that you can do that. You can let the photograph go into the magazine. And I think also at the same time, you have obviously got to have some kind of protection as well. If that particular model wants to use that photograph, if for argument's sake he is picked by Nike, excuse me, I want the correct fee for the usage of that photograph. Be a good idea to get in touch with someone who's au fait on the copyright law. There is a book that you can buy, but is the only one I know, and I can't remember the title, but the only one I do know is an American one, which I don't think would apply that much to Europe, which I think is what you've got to find. But it's certainly something to follow up on. Getting these release clauses, I think, is about the best way to do it, where the model has said, you can let that image go elsewhere into it can be used in a magazine or a book if you want to make a book. Come to the time of the show where we talk about the inspiration in your favorite photographer. So could I ask you, who would be your inspiration?
This one, again, I was thinking about this, is that I don't really have I don't really have a particular photographer that I'm a great fan of. Kind of, I follow their work and therefore their inspiration. Because most photographers, or not most, well, I don't know, a lot of them, their work isn't consistent across the board. Where you think, I love every single shot he does, So I tend to like, I don't know. Actually, there's one photographer. He's an American photographer. He's sort of like a digital artist. Tim Tadder. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's sort of sponsored by Adobe and things, and he does a lot of composite work. He does sports photography, and he's got a really glossy sort of commercial look. But his work is amazing, So, but that's not the level, that's not the style of photography that I'm doing. But I like his photography. So if it comes to inspiration, it's actually just going through Instagram, Pinterest, Google Images, and if I see a shot that I like, then that's it basically. Yeah. And sometimes I will think, I'll try that, and then I put my own spin on it.
Yes.
So I don't want people to think he's ripped my shot up.
No, exactly. Well, in this day and age, I doubt if there is a photograph which someone has taken totally unique, which hasn't been done before. And it's good to it's good to see a photograph and put your little spin on it, however you want to adjust it, whether it's actually with the camera or with Photoshop. Why not? After all, that's what photography is all about. Is my book anyway. What about your favorite? So you haven't got a favorite photographer then, as things stand, apart from this guy that you've just mentioned?
Yeah, no, just photographers that I like, as in just work I see. They don't have to be particularly famous or anything like that. Even friends. There's a friend that I do rate as a really, really good photographer. He's just moved back to Finland, and he moved here for a year. He lived not far, like half a mile or whatever, from my house. He's actually Finland's top portrait photographer.
All right.
He has the award for that. And he's do you know Photobiz X, Andrew Helmish, his podcast and stuff. He was interviewed on there. Actually, I put him in touch with that, so there you go. His work, he's a digital artist, but a great entrepreneur. He came to this city not knowing anybody, and he met me. I've done shoots with him. He's take pictures of me and stuff. And yeah, his name's, I always don't know how to pronounce his surname. His first name's Auntie, and I think it's Karpinen. So
Karpinen. Okay.
Yeah, in the show notes later or whatever.
Show notes later. Yeah, pass that through to me, and I'll put it in.
So it's not like he's some
Artie Karpinen. I'll tell you what. Let's see if we can just quickly get that.
Artie, it's Auntie.
How do you spell it?
A-N. I will have a look for it now. 2 seconds. A-N-T-T-I.
Yeah.
Actually, what are you looking on? Just Google.
Yeah.
If you look for Alias Creative.
Alias
Creative.
That's
it. You'll find his page.
Yeah. Got it.
Got it?
Yeah.
He's got a studio back home, and he's got several staff and whatever.
He's just loading up now.
Really good photographer. Amazing at Photoshop. And a go-getter, he's like, we're both the same. We just go out and find the work. Although he's better than me, I find these jobs and stuff, So, but you want to see his work. It's just he's award-winning, and he does the seminars and the photo show kind of exhibition where you'll talk and people will listen. So.
Yes, I'll put his link up. I just see the side of his work. He's got one of these scrolling pages, which I can't actually see the whole page while I'm splitting the screen up. So yeah, aliascreative.fi. Yeah, looks a good website. I have to put that up. Rahim, we made it all the way through. We had one little blip, which was when it was my earpieces, which for some reason decided to freeze everything up, but that cleared up. Thank you so much for joining me and talking about your, I'm going to say it, unique work, because you don't see this type of work very often, and when you do see it, your work has really caught my attention. So well done to you for that, and keep up the work, and keep those contacts going, and keep that social networking out there all the time, and keep plugging it.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. No, thank you, Rahim, and to everyone out there. It's Thursday. We've got a day to go to the weekend, but as I always say to you, if you're out there shooting this weekend, leave your camera bag at home. All the best to you. Bye for now.